and I feel
Uh,
like the movies are having a renaissance.
okay.
Nope, I'm looking at you. I'm like trying to throw to you, and you're like, nope.
I got nothing. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Inciting event. I am your slightly caffeinated host, Zachary Steele, and on this episode, I'm pleased to be able to sit down and talk with good friend Russ Marshalek, who once upon in the olden days worked with me in a bookstore I owned called Wordsmiths Books. So we're going to revisit some of those memories. We're going to talk about Russ has been doing since then, and who knows what else, but it'll be great to talk to him. So let's get this thing rolling. How the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I kept on like trying to send myself notes for interesting things to say on this, and nothing. I felt like nothing could possibly be as interesting as what could potentially come up, so I gave up.
Just like that's kind of that's sort of the experimental part of this is like, I mean, with people like you or some of the other people I've done this with, is like, I know you well enough, it's like whatever, we'll figure it out, it doesn't really matter. But I kind of want it to be conversational and not really know where we're going to end up, and if it sucks, so what, I don't really care. It's just like, I just want to have fun doing something.
I appreciate that. I'm like staring at the Pusheen card to.
No, this is Sadie's drawing for my birthday.
That's not like that's
No,
wow.
Sadie did this, like all the
Well,
drawings,
that's incredible.
because this is just cardstock.
That's amazing. That
I
I
know,
I
right?
seriously thought that was like
And then
person.
she did this for Father's Day.
Oh,
See the depth on these things. Like,
yeah,
she's
that's
really
amazing. Oh,
she's
and
really
and I noticed the baseball.
yeah,
That's a
yeah, because
baseball,
she
right?
she knows me well. She hit it into fourth field with that one.
Yeah. That picture comes up on my Facebook so many times, and I'm
Oh,
always
does
just
it?
like, this one needs to go away.
That's funny. That's funny.
Ugh.
Oh God. Um. So like basically, we're just going. There is no
Uh-huh.
start. There's no intro or
Okay.
anything. So
Okay.
you're already rolling here.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, no, I
Wow.
don't know. I'm
What's
just
so
I'm just making this up as
Hi,
I go along.
what's up, podcasters? My name is Russ, and I am coming to you live from upstate New York, where we have really not much of fucking anything at all.
Apparently the air
At
quality is
all.
really bad. I can't even see behind you.
Yeah. um,
Uh, no, that's
yeah.
cool. That's cool.
So,
Wait, where are you now? You said
okay, so
upstate? So
we
are you
moved to, yeah, we moved in 2021 to Athens, New York, which is about 15 minutes outside of Hudson, which is the biggest like landmark I can give, given that I still don't really know my way around.
mhm.
Um, Albany is like 45 minutes, which has the airport. Hudson has a train station, and we have a car, and that's basically.
I don't know if you remember this from your days in Georgia, but there's an Athens and Albany there. So I'm thinking maybe you just missed Georgia.
It's funny that you mentioned that because when there was a period like 10 years ago where I was in customs detention in Heathrow Airport, and because I lived in New York, the woman who had us in detention found the need to tell me all of the places in America that were named after places in England, and all of the places in America that were named after other places in America. So I do know that. I do know
Okay,
that. I
okay,
do
okay.
know that, just so that you know.
Uh, okay, well, I just didn't know if we needed to have a geography lesson to jog the memory or anything.
I
But
mean, yes, I do. I went to school in Marietta. I do need a geography lesson
I'm
very
sorry, you went to
badly.
school. You went to school where?
Marietta?
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 Yeah, I hear they have a big chicken there.
Is it still there?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Will it ever go away? No.
I don't know.
No.
I mean,
Unless it had been draped in a Confederate flag, that thing is going to last forever. And
Did
actually,
does
it might still, it might still even.
I think it, yeah, no, I don't think it's going anywhere. I'm glad to know that. I'm glad to know that there's like one thing that I still remember.
Yeah. Well, speaking of remembering, we decided we were going to talk about some little bookstore, something called Wordsmiths Books,
Yeah,
which
is that still there?
it's I don't it's Best Times. You remember
Yeah,
the
yeah. Oh,
or
is
the
it?
yeah, it's still the same thing. It's
Okay.
still that weird store that had everything from hairnet to pizza.
That's
Um,
weird.
yeah, and they covered up half of the store, not the store, but the other part of it that was Jenny's ice cream now. And those people of course closed the vault.
That sucks.
So that wonderful vault from the bank that was there before us,
Yeah.
yeah, they closed the vault so you can never get into it again.
That sucks. That vault was a treasure, no pun intended.
I know, right? No, that was it's funny because we're yeah, what? I'm sorry, I have to do math now. Almost 15 years since that next year will be 15 years since that thing closed. And
15 years.
yeah, 15 years since that closed. 15 years since you were just a pedestrian little program director at a bookstore.
I cannot believe that it has been 15 years. That
Hmm.
feels, I am not making this up for the podcast. That feels fucking wild to me.
It does. Yeah, I remember on the socials I would do like this annual sort of, oh whoa, the store was gone this many years and this many years. I think I stopped at like 8 because I was like, this is
Mm.
getting kind of depressing because the number's getting bigger. And I haven't revisited it since then, but I still see pictures of that store, the second one, because it's
Yeah.
important for those who didn't know to realize that had to move the store before the first year. But that second one in the bank was like the layout and everything it was the best one.
Yeah,
And I mean,
it was special.
yeah, but no, I still have here, hold on. I can do things like this. Look at what
Oh
I
hell
got.
yes.
Yeah, I've got what is One Hand Loves the Other, Draco and the Malfoys. I still have all the music over there because you were something that bookstores didn't usually have, which was a person who not only brought authors but you brought music. You got to laugh at all of the people I didn't know, and and then have people on the stage that other people would eventually know, like Saint Vincent.
I was just talking to my wife about that. I was like, I found the. I think maybe you showed it to me or I found it, but I recently found the horrendous flyer for the first St. Vincent show for her first album that was literally just like the Wordsmiths like thing with like a
Yeah.
square picture of her that just said like St. Vincent and I was like, flyer, here we go.
Ta-da!
This is my graphic design. I'm like, yeah, I can do flyers. I can do everything. But the
I mean,
fun thing,
it's just putting squares on a page. That's all it is.
it's just putting. I can do this in MS Word. Um, but the thing was, I feel like it was kind of like, is it a butter? It's not a butterfly. Maybe it's a bee or something where like it's so big that it is incapable of flying, but it doesn't know. Like
Oh, it's
it.
the bumblebee. My mom used to
Yes,
say that because that's what we are. We're bumblebees. We have no idea we're
yeah.
not supposed to be able to fly. So yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
that's how I feel about those days is like nobody told me I couldn't do it. So why
Well,
not?
I
I
was
mean,
most importantly, I wasn't telling you you couldn't do it.
no, you were just like go for it. Go run
As
for it.
Russ, I feel like there was a lot of yeah, okay,
Especially
whatever.
early. Yeah, no, especially early in the morning.
Yeah, that's
Especially
true. That's true.
especially early in the morning.
Yeah, I am not a morning person. I am still not a morning person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I started to become less of a morning person and then we got a dog and it tipped back.
Well, you kind of have to be a morning person with a dog because a dog is perpetually a morning person.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like he is up at 6 and ready to go and I'm like, "You know what? I'm just going to keep this as a personality trait."
Yeah. Oh, geez. No, we did. You did a lot of cool things there, though. I mean, I feel like I can compliment you now because we're so far away from it.
Yes. I
Apparently, I
appreciate
did.
that.
I did. It just took 15 years to get here. Russ, you did a great job.
Thank you. I think we did something that was really special and unique, and I follow a lot of places on Instagram that I feel like are spiritual successors to what we were moving towards, and I think a lot of them are in much smaller towns.
Hmm.
There's a bookstore called Stories that's in downtown Catskill that I see a lot of wordsmiths in, um, and it's just like it's cool to kind of feel like that whether we influenced anybody or not, like directly, I think that we were putting some good stuff into the world.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
the people that I met, and like I still follow on Instagram and I still feel like are my weird internet friends. I keep all my friends in the internet. It's much safer that way.
That's a lot less conversation too.
Yeah, exactly.
um no, I mean, you brought the music in there, and then you did the thing I'd never even heard of it, even as much of a Harry Potter fan as I was. I didn't know there was such a thing as wizard rock, and then suddenly there's these weirdos on our stage that are doing these awesome songs that really did kick it. I mean, I enjoyed it. You had a whole day of wizard rock where I can't remember all the band names. I just remember Draco and the Malfoys.
Just grab any Potter name and you're gonna be able to.
You're going to be able to make something.
Yeah, something
The
out of it.
Remus Lupins. That was one of them.
They were my favorite
Yeah.
because they sounded like early U2. Like
Uh
the
huh.
lead singer like had this thing when they were doing um the like we'll miss you Cedric or whatever, and
Uh
like
huh.
he just like he brought his acoustic guitar out and just like walked into the middle of this of the I was like,
Oh wait,
this
that was the
dude.
dude with the hat and the tie, right?
Yep, yep.
Yes, I remember. Okay, yeah, now I remember him.
I was like, that dude's
Yeah,
got charisma.
yeah. No, he had a swarm of people in that store.
Yeah.
Just they were all females as it happened, all following him through the store. No, I remember that. That was pretty cool. But you did Wizard Rock. I think you were the one that came up with the idea of honoring that horrible book Twilight with a prom.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was
Yeah.
fun. People had a blast. Had my friend Jim come in and play chess with people. He tried to look cool with sunglasses. It didn't work. Um, but, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
It's weird. I feel like I still to this day haven't seen all the movies, and I feel
Uh,
like the movies are having a renaissance.
okay.
Nope. I'm looking at you. I'm like trying to throw to you, and you're like, nope.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I
Yeah,
got
like
nothing. No, no.
yeah.
Look, I watched them. Okay, I watched the
Okay, so you've
movies.
seen them.
I have seen all of them. It took everything within me to actually make it through all of them. I only made it in the books. I only made it through like 50 pages of New Moon, and I was done. I was just like, okay, I did one book and 50 pages. I have done my time.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I did have fun at the prom. The prom was fun.
The prom was a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to do that. The picture of Lucy and I from that prom still surfaces every so often, which I think is really funny.
Yeah. I mean, I have you to thank for that because it's the only prom I've ever been to. So
Same. I've never
yeah.
been to a prom either, so that's the only proms either of us have had.
I think when I was in eighth grade, I went to one dance. And no, I know this isn't a thing. I know I went to one dance in eighth grade, and I got there, and I remember a Lionel Richie song playing, and this girl who I had zero interest in whatsoever came over to me and asked me if I wanted to dance, and I said no, and then I left, and I never went to a dance again after that, and I felt horrible because it was just a cruel to do to somebody who had been brave enough to come ask if I wanted to
That's
dance. That was I was a terror. I mean, I was such a terrible, terribly socially awkward kid. I
that's incredible.
when you
I
hear
mean,
stories about like young boys saying, "Oh, I feel like girls are another species," I literally was that kid. I could not function in around girls.
I mean, but to be fair, you answered honestly.
I did answer honestly. I did not leave her hanging. I did not say, "I'm going to go get a soda. I'll be right back," and just take off.
As the kids say
Um,
today, you did not ghost her.
I did not ghost her. I gave it to her straight. I don't know what they would say.
Uh,
Is I don't know. Anyway, I feel like if I say anything, I'm going to date myself here, so I'll just leave it alone. You may not have picked up on this in our years, but I'm not a cool person.
I never could have told you that.
No,
I
you
never
never
could
could
have
have.
told you
You,
that.
you never
Never.
could have told me
No.
that. No, no, you might have noticed, but you could not have told me. Anyway, I still tell a lot of stories though from those days, from like Amy Sedaris and
That's
the
another
rabbit
one that we
book.
were just talking about.
Yeah, and her sending the book on care for rabbits afterward. Stuart Woods and his 4-man army that he needs to have at the table to for signings.
Is okay, this might not be like a prurient question, but is he still alive?
I think so. I think so. I admittedly haven't kept up with it, and to be honest, I think like he and James Patterson are kind of in the same boat. They could actually die, and nobody tells anybody, and the books just keep coming out, and nobody will
Yeah.
know. Nobody will be the wiser. It'll be like
No one's
50
gonna
years down the
have.
line. 50 years down the line, and people go, "Really? They're still writing books? Good for them."
Yeah, like congratulations. That's like great for you.
Yeah.
Same plot. Uh, yeah, the Amy Sedaris thing is something that I talk to people about a lot because I feel like even the level of celebrity that she has now, like she was famous. She was very
Hmm.
famous when we got her, and then the level of fame that she has now is just unparalleled. Like
Hmm.
she's friends with Baby Yoda. Like she has met Baby
This
Yoda,
is
and
this
that
is true. This is true.
that like the fact that she has met Baby Yoda is like I don't know how much more famous you can get.
Yeah, I mean, the two people who really know Baby Yoda the best are incredibly famous. On one hand, you have Amy Sedaris, and then on the other hand, you have, Pedro, who is the dancing king on internet memes. So, I mean,
I love him. I
it's,
love both of them so much.
he's actually, did you see, speaking of him, did you see The Last of Us?
I did.
That was fantastic.
It was much I played the first video game. I'm a gamer now. This
Oh,
is
are you? Did
yeah
you have, wow, you've really upped your game.
I oh um but yeah, I played the game and I didn't really get into it, but the TV show was fantastic.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Um, all right, so I know there's like all this wordsmith stuff that we can talk about, and probably we'll end up like with like little code word things like open mic,
Yeah.
that make you laugh, but nobody else like, what are you talking about? I mean,
Yeah.
it's open mic. Um, but I also want I also do want to know what's going on with that thing you do that you call music.
That thing I do I call music. That's an interesting question. That's a wonderful question, Mike.
Thank you. It's the one that I had planned.
So a couple of things actually. My like dark electronic band plays both wonderful and strange. We're back together after a 5 year hiatus.
Mhm.
We are recording music.
Now,
We're playing.
did you have a reunion special first? Because you're supposed to do that before you do the reboot.
I know we should have figured out a way to like monetize that, but I was just it was weird. I was like, huh, we could probably take a way to do this where we make a lot of money and then never make any art, but I would rather make the art. So that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, actually had the first rehearsal in 5 years last weekend, and it was really good. And I remember at one point kind of being like, "Oh yeah, this is supposed to be fun."
Hmm.
And I'm sure that like as an artist, you also have had the experience of being like, "Oh yeah, that's right. This can be enjoyable."
Yeah, wait, or the opposite of like, oh, wait, I really don't want to do this,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah,
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah. The "Oh wait, I don't really want to do this" was like 5 years ago. We were doing a lot of shows, and I was incredibly stressed out with my day job, and I got to a point where I sort of felt like it was very sort of like beating my head against a wall. And
Hmm.
I sat down with my bandmate and I was like, I'm not having any fun. And she was like, I'm really not either. And so we didn't break up so much as just say we're not going to do anything live anymore. And then we just kind of stopped making songs. And then or like around the same time, my wife, who also is a musician, sort of like we all kind of like moved away from making music at the same time, and it just feels like everybody's kind of moving back in that direction now. So
Oh.
I think it's a good year for that.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, so what's the plan? Um, I always have difficulty classifying this music. So
Yeah.
dark. Would do that again. Dark. What do you call it?
Dark wave. So like dark electronic music.
Okay. All right. So it's like not emo electronic music. It's dark
It's
electronic
dark.
music.
It's like goth electronic music,
Goth,
basically. It's goth.
goth, goth
Goth.
electronic,
Goth.
gothiconic. Okay, go.
Gothiconic.
Okay,
That's hard to say.
goth,
Um,
gothiconic.
but so the plan is we're working on a record. I would like to say that it'll be out this year. Um, and we're gonna do a couple of shows and just kind of when this album is happening because we started it before COVID and shelved it, and it still just needs to happen. Like it kept poking at me and saying like these songs need to come out. So once this comes out, we'll see if there's anything else. But as of right now, the focus is kind of on like this album has hung around for over 5 years and needs to happen, and this is going to be like those songs as they are now.
Gotcha. Okay. So your stuff is available all over the place, right? Most
Yeah,
importantly, on Spotify, I see.
Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Bandcamp, anywhere you want to go.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Sorry, I was tempted to just like start playing one.
Oh no, do not make me listen to my own music.
Oh, come on. No, I was just joking. That's kind of like me listening to these podcasts. I'm like, nope, that one's done. I'll never hear it. I will never hear
Never, never
it.
again.
I'm sorry. Why do I say so many times?
Uh,
Yeah, there we go. I was doing this thing, the last one, which was with Anthony Laura and some actors for his play that he has coming up. And for some odd reason, every time I started a question, I would start it with "I'm curious," and it was about the 12th or 14th time that I said that I was like, "My God, I say curious a lot."
I mean it's I feel like I have conversational things like that, but they change. Like I think when I was at the bookstore, I used to say regardless a lot. There was something that I used to say all the time that you would like poke at me for, and I
So,
got like
I
very
mean,
sensitive about it, and then it changes
I
all the time.
don't, yeah, I don't know what it is, but yes, there was probably all the time. Like for example,
Uh,
how's the painting career? Have
oh
you been
my
able to
God.
have you been able to paint any rooms since the
I
Smurf
thought
incident?
about that. I
The
thought about
blended
that.
the blended Smurf incident?
Yeah, so I got to paint my own office and it was a disaster. Like
I,
disaster I think is
let me
is
work to get a visual here real quick, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember that because I you went back there and you had the office way back in the back of the store. You picked out your own color and you went back there and painted it. Just for a while, there's like, what the hell happened in here?
I
It was like
yeah.
streaks of blue and like it's not even fully covered and like corners smudged
I
and yeah.
I
Uh,
I have never
your
painted anything since then.
your strength of art is in music, my son.
Yeah,
It
no,
isn't.
it's
It's
not.
not in painting.
It is not in painting.
Oh my god, no, that's funny. I don't know if you because you know you live in the other state that has an Athens and Albany, but I don't know if you ever online encounter people talking about the bookstore. But I still to this day actually have people who will stop me and talk about how much they love that store and all the events that we did, and you know they remember it very fondly, which is really cool for you know a store that barely made it 2 years to have left that kind of mark. So we just cursed the economy or you know all the bad choices I made.
I mean, it's I think that hindsight kind of shows that we really were onto something. And there's something that I think about a lot, which is that it's a lot more it's a lot more commonplace now as an environment like we were trying to create at Wordsmiths to be able to say something like, "Hey, we need assistance. We need you to shop here instead of a big box store. Here's the
Mhm.
situation." Like, I see a lot of businesses that are local and bringing sort of a community environment to their neighborhood that are able to say, like, hey, here's the situation. And in 2008, 2009, that simply wasn't the case. Like
Hmm.
there was businesses and then there was private individuals, and it didn't really seem like it was possible for a business owner to not only be a business owner but also an individual who was being part of the community. And it
Hmm.
just, I feel like today, I'm not saying that I want to go open a bookstore because I do not. That is not. But I think that I think that we were on the right track. I think that we might have just been a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, the community thing of it is something that was I thought we really tapped into well, and it's really interesting because without getting into specifics, though you probably know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, there were things that we did that upset some people.
Hmm.
Whereas the broader community was like, yeah, we'll gladly help you any way we can. But we were open and honest with the community, and we, like you said, we said what we needed, and here's the realities of a bookstore kind of thing. Um, it's funny because especially during the pandemic, I saw a lot of that. I saw so
Yeah.
many people
Yeah.
who leaned on the community for assistance, and I don't, shopping, promotion, donations, whatever it
Hmm.
happens to be. And I thought about that, and I thought, yeah, I mean, this is stuff we were doing 12 years ago,
Yeah.
and people were responding well to it. And I think if we had the opportunity, that it really would have built something. But you know,
You fly too close to the sun.
I flew to, to bumblebees.
uh,
But anyway, but no, it was a good time, and it's interesting because I'm still connected with everybody that was there that worked there, and following everybody. I feel like even though the bookstore closed and that was a bummer, everybody kind of moved on to the next phase of their life, and to some degree or another have thrived there. I mean, you took off to New York after that and started doing various events and stuff like that leading into the music that you make. And personally, you've had good additions to your life,
yeah.
including a wife that you were able to get to. But I don't know. I feel like we had the time that we should have had and did some good things. And I don't know. Yeah, I wish it could have lasted, and I'm also grateful for what it was.
I think years. I basically think like hindsight has made it able to has made us able to like look back and say it was fun and it was great while it lasted, but it ended. And like you said, I think that everybody kind of had some closure there, be it like some long-term stuff drawn out or like immediately able to turn on a dime and do something else. I wouldn't be here if that hadn't happened. I definitely wouldn't have said like I think that I need to go here, like move to New York. And it was the work that I was doing while I was there that gave me the drive to say like I think I can do this,
Yeah.
because I was able to pull this off in Atlanta, and nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like I say a booker or a musician, and everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. So I think I might be able to do this. And then, lo and behold, I stepped out of books altogether because Random House pays their starting salary like at $21,000 a year, and I simply could not survive on that.
Right.
But I'm very grateful for the work that I got to do and the people who I got to meet. And a lot of the book publicists, like there's one who I won't name, who exactly who I mean, who a certain friend of ours mentioned all the time, who I'm
Hmm.
still friends with on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, this person is now a cruise director. And so it's just cool to see like where everybody is like 15 years later.
I know, right? Yeah, there's lots of little connections that were made through that. I kind of like, I wish there were people like we could have like guest appearances. No, you're not going to
Yeah.
know who I got this time, Russ. And one of which I wouldn't spawn on you. Um, but but no, I mean, we had, it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. And it was a dream that I had to have the bookstore, and I feel like we worked the vision really well. But I honestly don't think it would have been anywhere near what it was if you hadn't been doing the work that you did.
Thank
So
you.
Well, I mean, you're welcome, but I mean, and again, apologies for never saying that before, but it's true. Because putting a bookstore together is just putting a bookstore together. It's ambiance and books is all it is. But being able to do something that reaches out beyond that and offers platform for more than just local authors who want to pitch their books. Um, and you got big names. I mean, shit, you had Richard Blaise on stage, like
Yeah,
after his
yeah,
first Top Chef.
yeah, right.
So before he literally blew up.
Yeah,
Now that he's ripping shirts, but God, who else was there? Christopher Moore twice.
I was gonna say
Um,
Christopher Moore.
yeah, Christopher Moore twice. But we had that one week in September of 2008, which was, I don't remember what we called it, if we called it the week from hell or what it was,
I don't think
where
I don't think we publicly called it the week
no,
from
no, no, no.
hell.
I said what we
Oh
called
yes,
it,
we, yeah, okay.
because you had, I remember, like on the same night you had Amy Sedaris
And
over
Farnsworth
in an
Bentley, yeah.
Farnsworth Bentley on the same night, and then we had Stuart Woods that week, and
Uh-huh.
then you had, it was like two or three. It was like one
Yeah,
every single night, and Christopher Moore was one of
yeah.
them. Yeah, that's right. The first time he was there, um, which was crazy because we had people from the state of Washington who came out for that one.
Yeah, no, there were
Which,
there were people at the bookstore like right when we opened who were like, yeah, we just don't have any place to go right now. We just got here and we've been sleeping in our car. Can we like use your bathroom to brush our teeth, please? We'll buy books, I promise. It's like if you
uh,
slept in your car in the parking lot, you don't have to buy a book, my dude. Like
you've already committed.
you've earned
Uh,
this.
yeah.
Here's my
So,
keys. I live 10 minutes that way. Do you want a shower? Like
oh my god. Yeah. No, that was good. That was good. Well, but what else?
what else?
What
Um
else?
What else? I mean, I like, I don't know. I feel like there's like an oral history here, but you need to get like other perspectives, and some of them might not be as kind. But like I literally just texted Lucy and asked if she had any questions, and she said no.
I defer. No, thank you.
I
I'm
was
surprised. I'm surprised it wasn't more emphatic than no.
You're right.
Yeah.
But no,
No,
I
I.
mean I
Oh, I was just gonna say that. I mean, we did all the traditional things, and I know I referenced it earlier, the open mic thing. Which I wanna say, no, 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 no. I want to say that there was a very good thing that came out of the open mic thing, and that was, Benji and Will doing
yeah.
their thing, and both of them getting up and doing their storytelling thing. It was, I
Benji
think that
has a
was
book
probably,
now, right?
yeah. Benji has a book. It's called Impacted, and it's a fantastic book actually. And he's working on a second one right now.
I need to read
But
that.
yeah, but I mean, if I look at, it having him on the stage helped me reconnect with him because I hadn't seen him in a long time, and because we had worked years before that together at Barnes and Noble, and he stayed connected with me and then got involved with Broadleaf when I started Broadleaf. He got on the board of directors for 6 years, and being a part of Broadleaf helped him meet the publisher that got his book published. And so, I mean, it's really cool to see all this connective tissue of things. And so, even though open mic turned into the train wreck we knew it would be
Yeah.
because it was open mic,
Uh,
um, it was actually another little good thing that we did that actually benefited at least somebody. And we were entertained for a while, and we got to get up and read
personal.
the worst book ever written.
I
Which,
sometimes look that book up on Amazon, not
mhm,
because I'm gonna buy it, but
yes,
because I don't believe that it really happened.
I I still have
I
it.
have
I'm not.
so
I have vowed never to trash the writer in public
yes.
again. Probably now because I have books on the shelf again, and
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to do the same to me. But Yeah, it really was so bad, and I do keep it around, and it is like almost falling apart. I don't. It's in this room somewhere. It's almost falling apart, and all the ink that has been written,
Yeah.
from various people putting their comments has kind of faded. But I intend on keeping that to the end of time, and I'm either going to be buried with it or cremated with it, whichever one happens, because
That seems fair.
I need to give that book its due in eternity, one way or another.
Yeah, it's real, which is what
It's real.
is wild to me is that it was not a fever dream brought on by all of the stress. That was in fact a real book.
No, it is actually books. Well, I would say books like that, but there's really nothing like it. It is actually that book that, very specifically that book that makes the job of a self-published author so difficult because it's so horrible and in all aspects that it gives self-published books a bad name. And there's actually some good stuff that's self-published and indie published, but it's trash like that that keeps people from being able to actually be taken seriously. So, but yeah,
I
that was
f-
another open mic thing.
okay, so there were two avenues I wanted to go, and I'm just going to go with the open mic, which is definitely remember it's basically like it's almost biblical. If you build a stage, you're going to need a microphone. If you build a stage with a microphone, you're going to need to have an open mic night. Like that's how God narrated it when he built the Bible. Wait, did I say when he built the Bible? Whatever. Anyway,
I you
yes.
also said when you also said narrated, so I mean,
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, as God narrated it, when you build a stage, you get a microphone, and then when you get a microphone, you get an open mic night. And unfortunately, what happens after that is the most ungodly stuff that's ever occurred. Oh my God. Um,
it's really interesting that you went so heavy on the God theme there,
yeah, it
given
is.
the very
Yeah.
specific God related thing that happened. Actually, two God related things
I
that
remember the
happened.
girl who sang the weird God songs. I remember
Yes,
that. I don't
yes.
remember the other thing.
The other thing was the guy who told the really dirty poems, and he was actually a preacher at a sort of offshoot Christian church. Um, Big burly dude that had a beard and everything, but
Oh, it's
very,
see some of
very
the, so
strangely very tattooed. He was, and nothing about his look screamed preacher, but he actually did in kind of like a very small offshoot Christian. I don't know what denomination it was, but yeah, his poems were absolute trashy filth.
I feel like my therapist is gonna need to send a bill somewhere because there's a little layer of dirt that's getting like that
No,
my
like
brain
no,
is
no, no, no. I had buried
yeah
this.
yeah no my brain is like this was down here for a reason, buddy. You sure you want to do this? Um Yeah, like I mean it was wonderful, but also at the same time it did, however, end up springboarding me into what I started doing up here, which was just working on my novel nights where I was working with people who were trying to write books and wanted an excuse to just air out the pages that they had so far, because
Hmm.
I felt that was all I basically kind of like had an experience like you did, where I thought the stuff that people like Will and Benji, who were coming to open mic and basically saying like, this could be on a piece of paper, but I'm just going to give it to you. And then in Benji's case, and I think in Will's case also, would take it back and like turn it into something written. But that was
Hmm.
always a fascinating experience to me. Was like the way it's because we over the course of a couple of years we kind of got to see these people, week after week or month after month come and workshop this stuff and hone it and refine it. And that's not really, nobody really goes to an open mic night every week without something to say, but kind of by luck of the draw, because we had to be there, we sort
Hmm.
of got we sort of got that vantage point, for better in, Benji and Will and some other people's case, and then for worse in some others.
It's all the rest.
Yeah.
I know that I don't envy anybody who has to actually operate an open mic and doesn't have the ability to say, no, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Because those are very difficult. I mean, it doesn't really matter what forum you're in. If you're giving people a microphone for 5 to 10 minutes and you have not vetted any of it, you have no idea what's going to be said, or who's going to get up and leave when it's said.
Yeah. No, I remember very distinctly right now. At some point we decided that we were going to hew very closely to a time limit, and I remember like pre anxiety medication Russ in 2008 crouching at the side of the stage, like looking at the clock, like looking in the audience, realizing that like Big Jim Buckwheat or whatever had gone, that was hitting like 15 minutes, and like, well, this is my job. I have to get him off stage, and just being like, I can't talk to people.
Sir.
Sir, excuse me, your poem is raunchy.
Oh my god. All right, so you'll know this, but I want to tell the story anyway. Because I try to distill my wordsmith memories down to just like a few stories, that I desperately want to hold on to. And my favorite story by far is one I wasn't even present for. It was just the way you told it. And it was when uh a certain Daniel Handler was on
Oh,
stage at that I believe Joe from George Center for the Book had gotten, if I remember
yeah.
correctly, and we were selling for it. And he brought along with him Stephen Merritt, who
Uh-huh.
did all of the music, which I still love,
Yeah.
from the series of Unfortunate Events audiobooks. And he had periods of time where he was actually signing
Mhm.
the CDs, for kids, because
Yeah.
that's what was there. And I remember you telling me this story about the signing and this kid that came up and said to Stephen Merritt, "Did you eat a jelly donut?"
Oh,
Because he had powder across his nose.
that
Uh,
was so. That whole. I feel like that the Stephen Merritt and Daniel Handler thing was really an opportunity where you and I kind of got to see how we would work together for the first time, because I remember distinctly being like, "Oh, are they selling the Gothic Archie CDs?" And
mhm.
you, in a very Zachary Steele circa then sort of way, said, "Huh?" And I said, "The Gothic Archie CDs." And you,
What
in a
is
very
that?
Zachary Steele way, again said, "Huh?" And so I explained.
Well, I figured if I kept saying it, you'll eventually get to the explanation.
So I explained, it's this band, but it's a guy from the Magnetic Fields. To which I said Magnetic Fields, and you said, "Huh?"
Huh?
So I explained. But anyway, long story short, it turned out that not only was nobody selling the CDs, but they didn't even they were like, "Oh, yeah, that's a good idea." So we got CDs, and we sold the CDs too, and it was another income stream. And income equals good. This is the one little math thing that I learned from
Income
Zachary Steele
equals
here,
good.
is income equals good. So if you can sell stuff and make money, it good. So
It could money good.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, I actually, yeah, I guess that was pre-wordsmiths. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I
That was the
actually,
first Zach and Russ joint.
yeah, that was before I poached you from that business.
Yeah.
Which is probably good because we go back to,
Yeah.
what would Russ have been if he
Yeah.
hadn't gone to wordsmiths and had gone down with
I
the sinking yellow ship?
no, I have no idea, and I'm overjoyed every day that that happened, because that was such a crazy, that literally was the start of me kind of being like, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna do it because I kind of think I know what I'm doing. And now, 15 years later, I still only kind of think I know what I'm doing, but I'm a lot more confident
No,
in
you
that.
but you kind of think you know what you're doing on a much higher level.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
exactly. Exactly.
I don't see him anymore, but there's a man by the name of Brad who always asked
Yeah.
me, "It does Russ eat meat?" And I feel like that's the most important takeaway from this question is, does
Yes.
Russ eat meat?
Yes. Yes, Russ had to start eating meat because Russ was not feeling good. So Russ started eating meat.
I will
That's
make sure I pass that. The next time I see him, I will make sure I
yes,
pass that
you can
along.
assure him that I do.
Um, I do remember, speaking of the sinking yellow ship, the time that, because of all things, you and I were required to do business to business sales, which
Hmm.
was the biggest waste
No,
of
yeah.
resources ever. but but we got sent to an Arby's once. Do you remember?
Yes, I
And that
do.
was when you were forced to order something from Arby's, but not eating meat. You wanted a turkey and Swiss without the turkey, and
Well, they
and
had those it was the Market Fresh. It was a
the
whole
market
new
fresh.
fucking
That's right.
Arby's rollout.
That's right. But I just remember that look on the employee's face, like, what?
I've
and then and
never
then then they had to call their manager over, and both of them had to tell you, you're going to have to pay for the whole sandwich, and we're like, yes, we know that.
I've never in my life been so aggravatedly assaulted by a like fast food restaurant. Like in my life, I've never in my life had a fast food restaurant so mad at me as that Arby's.
Well, I mean, this is the company that now has the motto, we have the meats, so obviously you
Yeah,
were in
that
the
they
wrong place. You were in the wrong place, sir. You, sir, do not belong here, and you will have to pay for this sandwich whether you get meat on it or not.
clearly I was transgressing in some sort of like cosmic way that nobody had bothered to let me know of, that I just wanted the sandwich with the delicious, clearly farm fresh lettuce and tomato.
Clearly just picked from the garden.
Clearly farm fresh from the Arby's farm in a plastic bag somewhere. Like, but yeah, no, I think about that a
uh
lot because I to this day still have a little bit of I still get a little anxious when I think about that because they were so upset at me and I was
you
like,
have
"Sir,
you
I'm
have you
not
have a little PTSD from Arby's.
like I'm not trying to make your job any harder, my dude. I just want like you can just go, eat the meat yourself. Give somebody else double meat. Like I'm just asking,
Surely there's a homeless person around here.
right? Like come on."
Donate it to your church. I don't know. Uh, well, I can't do this anymore now. Because we're at 45 minutes, and that's as far as I'm allowed to go in my little brain.
Uh,
No, I mean, look, I could do this for hours.
yeah.
We probably need to do this for hours at some point, but I appreciate, taking the time to come here and rehash some memories and talk a little bit about what you're up to.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I hopefully Vanessa and I will get down there soon. It's overdue. So, and I actually was talking to Elizabeth Elkins,
Mm,
uh, from the Swear, a
from the
couple of
swear.
who is now in a
You notice
really well
I didn't say huh.
um for who is now in the somewhat well received country band Granville Automatic, but they're living in
Hmm.
Nashville now, but they're also splitting some time in Atlanta doing some recording, and I was like, I need to get back there. So
Hmm.
Vanessa and I will come visit soon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there might be people waiting for you to take you away for something you did wrong. I don't know what it is, but
I'm
but
sure. I'm sure
I'm
there will.
sure there's been people waiting. But no, I mean, hopefully you'll be able to do that, and hopefully I'm going to be able to get up to New York sometime soon, even if you aren't in the city anymore. I'm sure there's probably some way that I can leave the city and go upstate or something. I don't know.
Super easy.
Super. You
Super
just
easy.
drive. You just.
Well, no, it's a
Did you?
very
Is this like a reminder of how easy it is to get around when you're not relying
no,
on
it's
public transportation?
no, it's me telling you that it's a really gorgeous train ride.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. That's good enough. I can do that. All right. Well, cool. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks. No, I will
Thanks.
talk to you again soon. I appreciate you being flexible with this, and thank you for having me. I guess is what I should.
Yeah.
I guess is that what I'm supposed to say on this? Thank you for having me.
Russ, no, it's awesome, and I really do mean that. I mean, that store would not have been what it was without you. So
Thank you.
it wouldn't have failed without me. It wouldn't have been what it was without you.
All right, man. Go make dinner.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.